Utah is the 9th most urban state in the nation. 2.4 million people out of the 3 million people in Utah live along a 100-mile corridor. And the result of that is that we end up with air quality impacts.
On-road vehicles make up about 50% of urban air pollution.
We're going to double in population over the next 30 years.
If you look across the world at cities that are 5 million and greater, they have to have innovative transportation solutions.
Salt Lake City has really been a hub for innovation in the transportation space, going all the way back to the trolley and then evolving into a much more robust track system, with Salt Lake City being a hub for that network. And now current day, when we think about what we're doing with bike lanes and electric vehicle charging stations, and Salt Lake City's tried to stay with the times in terms of what we're doing with our infrastructure and also our planning.
Since 1999 all the way through 2014, we've been rapidly expanding our rail system, and now we have about 150 miles of rail, and we have about 100 different bus routes. We really have a system across the entire Wasatch Front. On average, we get about 170,000 people a day that take some form of UTA. So that equates to about 120,000 cars a day that we take off the road. It's really an impact in a positive way to our air quality issues along the Wasatch Front.
Active transportation is just using active modes, walking, biking, skateboards, scooters to get around. In Salt Lake City, there's about 300 miles of striped bikeways, but within the county and along the Wasatch Front, the number just keeps increasing every year. Almost every community across the Wasatch Front is working on active transportation. They know that as the population grows along the Wasatch Front, we can't be relying on cars to get people around. We need to use public transit a lot more effectively, and active transportation is a key piece of that.
Utah is unique in the sense that we have a young population, they're modern, and the lifestyle that the young Utahns want really fits with the electric vehicles. We want to be part of that innovative solutions and that transition to a modern and emission-free transportation system. To encourage EV adoption, you really have to do a couple of things. And one of those is put in a broad network or an electric highway. So that way you can get rid of one of the major barriers, which is what they call range anxiety. So what we're hoping to do is put in DC fast chargers around 1,500 miles across the state. Right now there's roughly around 2,000 EVs on the roads in Utah. By putting in this infrastructure, we're hopeful in the next 10 years we can increase that amount from 2,000 to 50,000.
Questar in the state of Utah have been in the alternative fuels business, specifically with natural gas, for over 35 years now. And we've been fueling trucks since 1981, and it all began with 25 trucks, and we've since grown to over 400 trucks. We believe that the big market for natural gas will be in the medium to heavy duty trucks. They ship through this corridor on I-15, usually to Los Angeles, where they have huge hubs set up to run on natural gas, and they're doing it for a couple of reasons. One, for the economies. They save money on natural gas, and two, to help the environment. It varies depending on the type of truck they buy, but some of the vehicles, especially the passenger vehicles, can reduce their emissions by 40 to 60%. The natural gas that's burned here in the United States is developed here in the United States. And so these companies like Frito-Lay and like Swift, as they move to natural gas, they're doing things to help the US economy and to use a local resource that benefits all of us.
Utah has long been known as the crossroads of the West, and I think we're the crossroads of the West when it comes to energy as well. And when we look at this specific space around alternative transportation, I think we are leading the way. Our Utah State University has a premier research institution looking at electric vehicles and how we can really improve electric vehicle corridors in an innovative way.
We've recently launched the Select Research Center, the Center for Sustainable Electrified Transportation. We are really at the intersection of multiple core technologies, and in particular, one example is an all-electric bus that's operating autonomously, charging wirelessly while in motion.
Essentially, what we have in the roadway is a coil of wire that has electrical current passing through it. It's an alternating electrical current, and what that produces is a magnetic field. And when the coil that we place on the underside of the vehicle passes through that alternating magnetic field, it induces a current flow inside of that wire as well, and then we're able to use that to charge the battery inside the bus. If you think of the types of applications that we envision, and again, things that we're very excited to be looking forward in the future of things that could happen right here in Utah and start right here with us, is placing these wireless charging coils in the roadways.
The opportunity in moving to an electrified transportation system is to have the cost of transportation reduced by as much as 50%. We also have an opportunity of having literally zero emissions at the tailpipe. For Utah to be a hub and a leader for the nation in new technologies for urban living, new technologies for smart mobility, and in this case, literally a leader in the future of transportation, this puts Utah on the map.
A lot of great progress is happening in the transportation space. Our air quality challenges have led to kind of a social shift where a lot of people are cognizant of the impact that their transportation choices are having on the environment and on public health.
We were the first idle-free city in the nation. And so when you see the idle-free sign, that actually started with our office during the time we had some of the worst air pollution in the nation. So people were saying, what's something everyone can do? And that was certainly turn your key, be idle-free.
We've been able to reduce about 7,000 tons of greenhouse gas in the idle reduction program, and it's something that everybody can do.
The Office of Energy Development is committed to advancing alternative transportation options, but we can't do it alone. And we have a number of partners that we work with, and we're all engaged in this. And by all, I mean that takes everyone. This is really about people making decisions, getting educated about the choices they make, and looking at ways that they can change their behaviors so that they can be part of the solution instead of part of the challenge.